do need to know what this bit is for.
Is
It's in the microphone box.
Is that in the microphone box? I think it's if you take it off the stand that you can. I think can you use it as to attach it to a boom? I think.
Possibly.
I think that's what it's for.
I won't lose that then.
Don't lose it. Keep it in the box or keep it somewhere in a bag and write what it is on it or something. Otherwise, you'll never know what it is. You'll find that in years to come in a drawer and you won't know what it is, will you?
No, exactly.
You've got to label it somehow.
Yeah, I'll work that one out. Hello.
Hello, viewer. I didn't mean for you to be eavesdrop on us in that way, but that's what you get with the Phil and Ben full record jacket. You get the warts and all experience. Welcome to another edition. Well, they're not normally visible on camera, Ben, but let's not talk too much about that. But
I know what you're saying, young sir. You gent.
We're going unscripted, would you believe, viewer? We're talking random waffle about music. Never been done on this channel before.
Ever. Until every 271 videos before it.
Yeah, but I looked at the history. Apparently, if you look at our channel, it tells you that we've made 300 and something videos. But when you actually remove all of Ben's little 30-second ones, the shorts.
That's all it takes, Philster.
Yeah, you remove all of those. I think we've made 271. So this will be the 272nd full length.
Ooh, we should have a little party for it. 272 doesn't really get the credit it deserves.
There haven't been many 222. It's difficult to say it, isn't it? 272nd anniversaries of things, have there? Not been many.
No. Or bands that have had maybe Ryan Adams has had 272 albums out.
He possibly has, yeah.
He's got to be pushed in just a year. I think he releases one every day.
He might well have done, yeah.
He's just released one just now. I've just heard it. He's just released it.
That's Ryan, not Brian. Ryan, not Brian.
Not Brian.
Did you know that Bryan Adams? Do you remember when? Where am I starting with this? Where am I going with this? Do you remember when? Obviously, Bryan Adams started in, I think, the 80s, or we may even started. 80s, yeah, he may have started in the late 70s. It took him a little while to become a big star, didn't it?
Yeah, well, I'd never heard of him till Everything I Do.
Yeah, I'd heard of him before. He'd had hits before that. He'd had Run to You.
69 was that before it?
Run to You. That was the mid 80s because that was the album called Reckless. Now there's another. I know he's never really been one of my artists. I've never really bought any. I've never bought any of his stuff. He's okay for what he is. He's a rock pop performer. I always saw him as being a little bit Springsteen light. Do you know what I mean?
I was just about to say that. It's almost like if you bought Springsteen off of Temu.
There is an element of that to him. Now, I have known people over the years who said, in fact, I used to know of a guy who was older than me, who was a massive Springsteen fan, had every Springsteen album, but he also really liked Bryan Adams and went to his concerts quite a lot and said it was fantastic. His live shows were brilliant. I was never totally sold on him, but I don't mind him. I'm not against him. I can enjoy the odd song. I'm a bit bored of Summer of '69, but I quite like Run to You. I think I still think that's quite a good 80s, slightly cheesy 80s corporate rock kind of song. I think I can enjoy it for what it is. I know he did an album before that, Reckless, which some people think is good. And where was I going with this? Where I was going with this is that Bryan Adams became a big international star, and then along came Ryan Adams. And Ryan came along in, when was that? Late 90s. Very late
90s, yeah. Well, his breakout album, which one was it? The one with he's got the 79 t-shirt on. Is it not Heartbreaker? It's
What's that? Well, the first one was where he's lying on the back with a cigarette. Now, what was that called? Was that called Heartbreaker? That was his first solo album, wasn't it?
That was Heartbreaker, wasn't it? And then the second one where he's got the 79 t-shirt on. Great year, man, I say.
Gold.
That was because he actually recorded one of the singles the video to it outside, well, in vision of the Twin Towers, sort of like 2 days before they.
That's right, the song "I Love You, New York." Yeah.
Yeah,
Now that was his. I think that was probably his mainstream breakthrough, wasn't it? That he became well known in the mainstream, and he'd been in a band before that called Whiskey Town, I believe, which is kind of a country rock kind of band. So I also read somewhere that at some point, a few years in, I think it was a while, but he and Bryan Adams met up and became mates.
There's only one letter between them, isn't
there? Only one letter between them. Well, maybe they exchanged letters before they met. But yeah, I mean, where was I going with this? So I guess Bryan Adams, he must have got a bit fed up with people confusing him with Bryan Adams earlier.
The amount of times I've had to say to people, me and my partner went to see Bryan Adams. Blimey, Riley, was it last year?
I think it was last year in the winter time you went, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. And the amount of times I had to say to people, I'm going to see Bryan Adams. Bryan Adams? No, Ryan Adams. Summer of 69? No. Firecracker and Nuclear. Ryan Adams. Not Brian. You mean Ryan? Yeah, Ryan Adams. Oh, right, never heard of him.
No, there's a thing, isn't there? Is it the in America they have the actors, whatever they call it. Is it the Screen Actors Guild? Is that the equivalent of Equity?
Screen Actors Guild.
I think if you're going to be in films, you're not allowed to have the same name as another actor, right? So if you've got the same,
you're not allowed to be called Steve.
No, so you have to, either change it.
One Steve.
You have to either change your name.
People are waiting around for Steve Martin to die. There's loads of Steves
waiting to come
Steve
through.
Martin. Oh, you can snap it so I can go by my real name.
You have to either change your name a bit, or put your initial in between your name or whatever, so you don't have the same as another actor. And I think that's the case with
Thomas C. Howell. I think he do that with his.
Yeah. Now I think that's the case with any actor, living or dead. Even from decades ago, you're not supposed to have the same name, so they can't be confused on the credits of and the history books, right? So I don't think that is the case with music. So you could have the same name as someone who's previously made records, unless they've managed to trademark their name or something. I think in America, artists are able to trademark their names, so that's a difference. Because I think in Britain, I'm running off a tangent here, but I know in Britain, for example, it was possible at one point, it may have been closed now as a loophole, but it was possible for people to sell Elvis Presley memorabilia that wasn't official, because the name Elvis Presley was not a trademark in the UK, but it is in America. But I think that may have changed now. But where was I going with that? I was going with
Country City manager Stephen Presley. His son is called Elvis, I believe.
Yeah. So you see, if you were going to make records and release them in America, you may not be able to have the same name as an American act because they might have trademarked it. In fact, didn't happen with Verve? It was a record label, wasn't it?
The Verve. Yeah.
Or was it a record? An American
record label.
It was Verve Records. And I think at one time there was an American band in the 60s called the Charlatans, wasn't there? Which is why the British band, the Charlatans, have to have Charlatans UK on their records, I believe, in America. I think that's the case.
Wasn't there another band that had to have something UK?
Yeah, I think it's Suede. Don't Suede have to be called London Suede in America?
Something like that, yeah.
I think that's the case. But I think that's to do more with trademarking than there being any kind of rule that you can't have the same name as another artist. But
no, it's not Elvis, Stephen Presley's son. It's Aaron.
Oh right, okay.
Sure, he plays at Walsall, I think, at the moment. Okay. It's called Aaron Presley.
Well, obviously Ryan and Bryan are not the same names, but you would think, wouldn't you, that if I'd been Ryan Adams, I would think I'm just going to keep getting confused with Bryan Adams, so I'm going to call myself Ryan H. Adams, or I'm going to call myself Ryan Adamson or something,
But maybe it's a good marketing ploy, though.
Well, maybe it is a good marketing ploy, but it's kind of
maybe that's what it's there for, because people Maybe he's done it because people like me will have to spend all their time going, no, Ryan, Ryan, Ryan Adams, not Brian, not Summer of '69 guy, Firecracker guy, Nuclear. Did a lot of songs for Smallville. Come
I
on,
Still Love You, New York. Yeah.
yes,
Um,
yeah,
we're going off on a Ryan Adams tangent. I did buy Ryan Adams albums, and I do have Heartbreaker, and I do have Gold, and I have the one he did that was the demos that has a cassette on the front. That's
yeah.
got Going Nuclear on it, hasn't it? I think.
Going
Um,
nuclear.
and then I have, is it Love Is Hell? The one he did with where he did Wonderwall on it.
Yeah, yeah,
I've got that one. And then he did the one that was called Rock and Roll. Do you remember that one?
I do. Yeah, there's so
Um,
many Ryan Adams albums.
but after that, I kind of lost touch with him. And I know he made a lot more albums. I mean, he did one called Cold Roses. Do you remember that one? That
Yeah,
was supposed to be really, really good. I think it's a double length album.
because
But
wasn't he part of? Wasn't he in a sort of another band? Was it like the Cardinals? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
yeah, he did have Ryan Adams on the cover. In fact, I've got that as well. It was called Jackson. He may have done several with them, but he did Jacksonville City Nights.
That's it. Yeah,
There's quite a sort
I've
of
got
a
his.
country edge to their stuff, isn't there?
I think I've got his album from 2023. One of I think three that he released that year, three or four. Chris, that his brother. That was the
Yeah,
tour that
yeah.
he was doing. It was around the time he released the Morning Glory sort of album, and we went to see him over in Birmingham. He was very good, very very good.
Was
Old
that
Ryan.
not long after he'd done the Springsteen cover album as well?
Yeah, Nebraska, wasn't it? He'd done
Yeah.
Nebraska, and then I think he was just starting to release the Morning Glory tracks at the time.
So for some reason, I kind of lost. I don't know why I lost touch with Ryan Adams. Was it because I got more into Wilco? Maybe it was. Mind you, I was into them before him. I carried on buying the Wilco albums. I didn't carry on buying the Ryan Adams albums. I don't know. Maybe
I
I just
do.
had.
He is slightly bonkers, and I do like that about him. He's 50 now. He's 50 years old.
Yeah,
He has released 30 studio albums.
that's mad, really, isn't it? I mean, that's to do that. I've done it at 50.
This year alone, and bearing in mind we're only about to clock over into September, he's released two albums this year. Another Wednesday and Changes, and the Heartbreaker 25th anniversary album is going to be released this year.
Wow.
But 2024, he released 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 albums. That's one every 2 months.
That's mad. And were those songs all newly written, or had he been dredging up stuff that he'd written years ago?
I don't know because there's nothing. There's no album I can click on after Big Colours in 2021, the album before Chris. All the rest do not have Wikipedia links in them. The only one after that is obviously his 2015 Taylor Swift cover version album, which I'm quite surprised you haven't got and
I
milking
have,
yourself over.
I have listened to bits of that, and it's quite good.
Yeah,
It probably obviously works better on the ballads than it does on the poppy songs, but it's it's interesting hearing him cover these albums.
yeah.
He sometimes brings something else out in the song. I suppose you could say, well, anyone could do it that way by doing the song. You know when they've had these John Lewis Christmas adverts in the UK on TV,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
they'll take a song that's been some big hit pop song or some rock song, and they'll get some girl with an acoustic guitar to play it in a singer-songwriter style, and it'll
yeah,
make it
yeah.
all sound so meaningful and wistful and
Deep.
slightly and
An
melancholy.
advert set in a
Yeah.
Christmas scene, a
Now,
snowy pathway,
yeah,
as the young couple walk down with their grandparents in front of them
yeah,
after the inheritance money and
yeah.
push them
So
into the lake.
that's it. So
Sorry, I went off on it.
Ryan Adams does kind of do that, doesn't he, with these songs? But it does feel a little bit more authentic the way he does it. I think he's
Yeah, well, Noel Gallagher always said that he he always used to do, whenever he did Wonderwall live, he would do the Ryan Adams version because he always said that was the better version.
That was how he felt when he wrote it. Was it was more of a?
I don't know. I think he just likes the mood of it and the tone of it and
I
the
mean,
darkness of it.
he makes. I mean, Ryan Adams makes Wonderwall have more of the kind of tone of something like Talk Tonight, doesn't he? Really,
Yeah,
he brings it into that territory, doesn't he? Really.
yeah,
But it was interesting to hear him do some of the Springsteen songs.
yeah.
And I say the Swift songs kind of work interestingly, although he changes the melodies a lot on the Swift songs. I mean, they are, they're not. It's almost always, it's almost as if it's just the lyrics and hardly as much of the melody, really. But also with the Oasis songs, the one I listened to and I thought this is quite interesting to hear this done this way was "Hey Now" from Morning Glory.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he brings out quite a lot from the lyrics in that, which I'd never really thought about the song, the sort of emotional depth behind the song before. So that was interesting. So, I mean, that's what I've taken Ryan Adams quite a way, haven't I? Considering I wasn't intending to actually talk about him.
No, you were gonna tell me about your mammoth listening to of Billy Joel.
Well, I haven't. I haven't quite mammoth listened to. Just let's have a quick look at Billy, shall we? This is Billy Joel's greatest hits. We did we did a thing about Billy Joel before, didn't we? Where we talked about him being one of these people that has been slagged off. Can you see actually right on the end of his name here, right on the end of the L of Joel?
Yeah.
Can you see there?
Is there a TM or something?
There is an R. There's a It's a registered trademark.
Trademark.
So he's one of these ones that trademarked his name. Anyway. So Billy Joel, where do we place Billy Joel musically? He's kind of like, he has been seen as, in a way, kind of the American Elton John, hasn't he? Because he's a piano player,
yeah.
and he did do a tour with Elton John more than once, I think. So they were around at more or less the same time. So that comparison came in. Although, of course, he's not quite like Elton John because he's a different character and a bit of a different style, but he's not as rocking or as blue collar as Springsteen.
No,
but he's more in the he's definitely more in the pop realm than the rock realm. Even though he's got a few songs that are a little bit more rock style, but he's more in. He started out really in his period of success. I mean, obviously, I'll talk in a moment about what he did before he became successful, but he made his name really as a singer-songwriter in that 70s singer-songwriter era. So it was really in the same ballpark as people like James Taylor and that kind of thing. Carly Simon, that kind of thing was going on at that time. And he's not as arty as someone like Paul Simon.
No.
He's more.
He's your meat and potatoes kind of
guy. Lyrically, I think he's good, but his lyrics are not anything sort of. It's not as if there's anything to really ponder in his lyrics, in the sense of, well, what could all that mean? Do you know what I mean? He doesn't write He doesn't write those kind of lyrics where it could be open to all sorts of interpretation. It's kind of pretty straight talking stuff, but it's done very well. And in terms of melody, I think he's actually quite advanced because he was classically trained, and he seems to be very respected. Yeah, he seems to be very respected by people like McCartney. There's a story about Bob Dylan actually, because I think it was in either the 70s or the 80s. It was when Billy Joel was very, very, at the peak of his success.
His piano powers.
Bob Dylan's daughter, who would have been born, I think it's Anna, the daughter. She would have been born.
Yeah, because she wouldn't be allowed to be called Bob, would she?
No, she wasn't called Bob.
She'd get sued by her dad.
I think this was. I don't know how old she was. She was a kid. I mean, she was either, maybe 11, maybe in early teens.
You often find that with childs do, that they're kids.
At some point, they were kids. She was a big fan of Billy Joel at some particular age. She was. So, of course, Bob Dylan, having the ability to just access Billy Joel, got in touch with him, and then so Billy Joel and his daughter, Bob Dylan and his daughter, went to visit Billy Joel at his house.
Yeah.
And Bob Dylan apparently stood in the kitchen, was in the kitchen drinking coffee, and Billy Joel was telling Bob Dylan's daughter all about how he writes songs. So it's kind of, anyway, I thought it was quite interesting. I don't know why, but Bob Dylan kind of has written about Billy Joel in his book because he kind of respects him, but maybe it's because he was friends with him and he was nice to Bob Dylan's daughter. Right.
I don't really have much of a relationship with Billy Joel.
Don't you?
From...
I thought you were Christy Brinkley. I thought you were going to tell us all about your marriage.
No. Well, after the incident with the cat and the shed, we haven't spoken. But I'd never been a massive fan of things like Uptown Girl. I remember when it came out, it was played a lot when I was a child, and I just never liked it. I just find it really. Yeah.
A lot of people really don't like Uptown Girl.
No, but one of the first singles I ever bought was River of Dreams,
which is a bit more like a sort of kind of influenced by Paul Simon's Graceland, maybe. That's a little bit of little bit of an African vibe in it there somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah, a little bit gospel-y sort of.
A bit gospel-y in there. So anyway, why are we talking about Billy Joel? We're talking about Billy Joel because he's recently had a documentary series made about him in which he participated, and various people from his life, his ex-wife, various other people have taken part in with his approval, and other musicians like Bruce Springsteen, etc., have spoken in this documentary as well. And it's a 5-hour documentary. I haven't seen it. It's on. I think you can watch it on Sky in the UK. I think it's on HBO in America. I think they're the ones who made it originally. Wherever you are in the world, you can probably get it on some kind of streaming service. But to accompany this, it's called "And So It Goes," which is named after a song. To accompany this, they've put out what is effectively a box set, but it's a digital-only thing, so you can't actually buy it. But it's a 7-hour-long playlist, effectively, of Billy Joel, covering his whole career, with some interview clips interspersed between some of the songs. So you can listen to it like a documentary.
Yeah.
But you're hearing songs, and it's a real deep dive because it's not just his greatest hits. It goes into a lot of tracks off all the albums. It's not everything, but it's a deep dive into all his albums.
It's not 7 hours of Uptown Girl.
It's not 7 hours of Uptown Girl. In fact, I don't think Uptown Girl is in it. I think I
might listen to it.
You might listen to it.
Has it got River of Dreams on it?
I think it probably has. I've looked at the whole track listing. I think it probably is on there. Some of the songs are there in live.
Breaker for me. If that's not on it, I'm not listening.
Okay. Well, see, Uptown Girl was when that was the early 80s. He did a whole album where he wrote songs in sort of retro style. So do you remember The Longest Time? That was kind of like a doo-woppy song. Remember that one?
If I heard it, I probably would. Like I said,
you might hear it.
Apart from the big singles,
you'd love that one because it's like The Longest Time is like a barbershop doo-wop. So you'd love that one, Ben. You like a bit of barbershop, don't you? And then he did the long. Tell her about. Do you remember Tell Her About It? Do you remember that one? Another up tempo. So he did a whole album of this sort of retro 50s, 60s pop style songs, and Uptown Girl was supposed to be like the Four Seasons. Okay.
So it was supposed to Crummy Hotel, or
it was supposed to be like Frankie Valli and the Four. If you listen to it, it is kind of like Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons.
Yeah, I kind of get that thingy with it, that it's just a. Do you know one of the reasons why I haven't listened to the Beach Boys very much? It's all a bit twee. That's what.
There's a twee element to the thing with Uptown Girls, but it's a little bit too catchy. It's maybe a little bit too and obviously being played to death on the radio doesn't help those kind of songs, does it?
No.
People
but then
start to hate them.
Yeah. It's just, I
I
don't know. It's just he's just. We should do a show on artists that we should listen to more, but we don't listen to at all. I think we have done one before. I think I remember saying about Muse and people like that.
Well, if any of our groovers want to listen to him and have never listened to him, you could try this documentary. But what I did is I went on a walk and I thought, right, I'll download onto my phone the Billy Joel documentary, because I always liked it. Because I see Billy and I have a bit of a relationship going back to my childhood, because I enjoyed a bit of Billy when I was younger.
Oh, I bet you did. You do realise there is
I can't believe I'm walking into this.
Yeah. There is a phone line number you can ring. Where on the dial?
Anyway, this documentary
about you and Billy
starts off with him in the band that he was in originally in the 60s called the Hassles, who were kind of Beatles influenced, and they made some recordings. And then he was in this band, which I believe was kind of like a duo with this other guy called Attila. And that was kind of like, they started this Attila band because the Beatles had kind of slightly gone out of fashion, and Led Zeppelin was massive in America. He'd heard the first Led Zeppelin album.
It could be an early Strokes album, like a
so it's
album,
it does sound like it could be a Strokes song, doesn't it? So they were doing this sort of
Kasabian song.
Yeah, so they were doing this sort of heavy stuff that was kind of Zeppelin influenced, but it's not really that great. And I listened to about 45 minutes of this early Billy Joel stuff, which I'd never listened to before. I knew he was in this band, The Hassles. I think I may have heard one track, and I may have heard a little bit of this Attila, but I'd never listened to a number of songs by this Attila. And then there are some of his early demos as him as a piano singer-songwriter. And I wasn't really enjoying any of it until we got to the song She's Got Away, which was on his first album, which I think is an excellent song. It's kind of like a McCartney-type ballad. But I had to listen to 45 minutes of unenjoyable Billy Joel before I got to some slightly enjoyable Billy. But I think the rest of the 6 hours and whatever left is going to be a bit more fun, because there's going to be a few more decent songs in there.
You say it's going to be a bit more fun, but is it going to be a bit more fun?
It will, because he's actually very consistent on his albums. You listen to his albums, there's lots of songs on there that are as good as his hits. He's not, he doesn't put fillers on them, really.
If anybody's wondering why I keep fiddling my earphones, it's because I think there's got a slight broken wire in them, and every time Phil talks, I can hear you normally, then all of a sudden you sound like a mad robot. So.
Well, that's because I'm changing my voice and sounding like a mad robot.
A bit like the Flaming Lips thing.
So, if any of our groovers are wanting to know where to start with Billy Joel, I'll tell you what, one place you might want to start.
It's 45 minutes into that playlist, by the sounds
45 minutes into that playlist would be a good place to start. Start with She's Got Away. And then, if you want to go for an album, possibly, it's a very obvious choice, this one, but there's The Stranger from 1977, which is his breakout album. This was the one that made him a huge mainstream star in America. This was actually, in the first few years it came out, it became the best-selling album ever on the Columbia label. It was the best-selling album they'd ever done. I think it was overtaken by Michael Jackson's Thriller, but at the time it was. Now, the interesting thing about this album, this was, Joel had done a few singer-songwriter albums before. It was, at one point, George Martin, the Beatles producer, was going to produce this album. And the reason that didn't happen is because Billy wanted to record it with his road band, and George Martin wanted to use session musicians, and they couldn't really agree. So in the end, Billy didn't hire George Martin. He worked with the equally acclaimed American producer Phil Ramone, and used his band, including Liberty DeVito there on drums, and the other guys who were his road band, who hadn't played on one of his albums before because he had to use session musicians on his first few albums, and he wanted to record with the road band. And then he made several more albums with that same band. But apparently, after the album came out, George Martin wrote to him and said, "You were right. Well done. It's a great album." So that's nice of that was nice of old George, wasn't it?
It was nice of old George. He's a good old guy, isn't he?
So yeah, he was. So this is the one for you to avoid, Ben. An Innocent Man, which has got Uptown Girl on it.
Yeah,
but
in the bin.
But it has got the title song, which is a great song. So you're missing out if you don't listen to the title song of An Innocent Man. There's some other great songs on there as well. Now the one I haven't got all the Billy Joel albums. I've got a few. This is one that gets a bit of a kicking, and I quite like this one. This is The Bridge from 1986, and very 80s. A little bit, some songs on here, a little bit Sting influenced. Some of it a little bit Huey Lewis influenced. Yeah. Also a duet with Ray Charles.
You've been very 80s, haven't you? Last couple of weeks?
I've been very 80s. That's very 80s, and there's others here as well. He did Stormfront, which is where he tried to go a little bit more arena rock, with varying degrees of success.
A little bit Kraftwerk or something like that.
He went a little bit arena rock, and then he did his final album, 1993, the last time he wrote a new album of songs. He hasn't written any apart from one or two. Yeah, River of Dreams. But he's done one or two songs since then, but this is the last full album he ever wrote. And he said at the time he wasn't going to do any more albums, and he's stuck by that.
32 years.
In fact, the last song on this album is called Famous Last Words, and he actually stuck by that.
I can't think in my sleep.
And I think that does make
a few weeks, weren't it?
Yeah. I don't know, was it number one in this country? I can't remember. But I think
find out.
This does make Billy Joel kind of unique, doesn't it? Because I can't think of another major act, and he was a major act. I mean, I think he is still one of the top 5 best-selling artists of all time in America. He's up there with, I think, I can't remember whether he's sold more records or Springsteen has, but him and Springsteen are very close on the number of records they've sold in America. I think only Presley, the Beatles, and Jackson have definitely sold more. And well, they're not top 5. They're quite high, of course, in America. But he stopped songwriting basically more or less about 20 odd years into, a couple of decades really, 70s and the 80s and the early 90s, and then he's carried on as a performer for what's that now, 30 years, over 30 years, without writing any new songs. I can't think of anyone else who's done that. I mean, there's plenty of artists who've had success for a while and then no one's been interested in any of their later songs. That's quite common, isn't it? But for them to say, I'm never going to write anymore.
You keep on talking.
You change your headphones, I'll keep on waffling. Now, I think, am I right to think that Coldplay... I'm right to think that Coldplay have done this, that they've said that they're not going to write any more songs now. I may be right on that. Let us know. We'll find out from Ben in a moment when he's changed his headphones, because he knows a bit about Coldplay more than me, probably. You got them in now?
No, that's no better at all.
It's no better at all. Okay. No. We'll let him carry on fiddling with that.
I'll keep fiddling.
I think I'm kind of exhausted.
Broken.
Oh dear. It's a shame, isn't it? Only on Full Record Jacket can we have this kind of interruption. Where was I? I was on Billy Joel, wasn't I? That's it, really, Groovers.
We've heard you've been on Billy Joel a lot from your previous conversations.
So, Groovers, let us know, what do you think of him? I mean, I've got this childhood connection that, I have a little bit of a soft spot for Billy. But I know there's lots of people who slag him off. He does get a bit of Phil Collins treatment, in the way that Phil Collins does in this country. He gets a bit of a sneering.
I was talking about Phil Collins yesterday.
You were? What was that then?
Because me and the good lady were watching what can be described as a god-awful film called Abduction, which has so many plot holes. and it had Phil Collins' daughter in it, Lily.
All right, okay.
So I was telling Prywan about Phil Collins that he did the I could feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Yeah, the
Gated
EastEnders
reverb.
thing. Yeah. So he came into the conversation yesterday. So, I tell you what. Oh, I don't know if you saw this, dude. I got this the other day. Just a quick one before we head off into the sunset. You know, I like a vinyl record. Oh well, actually, I got a couple this week. I'm gonna quickly show you three of them, and two of them. The good lady picked up for me. Do you want to see what they are?
Go on.
Of course you do. You're gonna get no choice. But she got me because I don't know where she was, in Northampton. I'm a bit Kenny Rogers. How good is that?
Good old Kenny. Yeah.
Good old Kenny. Got lots of songs.
Any songs we know on there?
No text. Don't Fall in Love with a Dreamer. These Chains. Somebody help me.
I must admit, I don't know that many songs by Kenny Rogers, to be honest. I only really know the greatest hits.
Time to leave me loose. But
yep,
I got this
know
one
that
as well,
one.
and it was funny because I was reading about his brothers, and then Prywan got me this album. I think it's from about 1978. I think the non-BG.
So Andy Gibb.
That is Andy Gibb. Yeah. He was a handsome chap, weren't he? I like all the other BGs. I've got a mouthful of teeth. So I got that, and then a couple of weeks ago I got the album Prince's Jukebox. The album,
yes.
These songs that had inspired Prince. Well, I saw this on a online purchasing site, and it was going very, very, very reasonable price. But it's 21 songs that shook. It says here, and it's its own words. 21 songs that shook David Bowie's world. Based on the book by the same name by Jerome Solini, taken from the albums he loved as a young man and that never left his turntable, written by some of his favourite songwriters and those he discovered.
Can I guess?
Do you want to have a
Can I guess what songs are on there, or what artists are on David Bowie?
It says here he loved as a young man, but it's those he discovered and followed throughout his career. These tracks are among those that mark David Bowie's artistic journey and his life.
Okay, so
21 songs.
21 songs. How many artists can I get on there? Are they 21 different artists?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What's going to be on the David Bowie?
Yes, please.
Are they on there?
Go. Got 21. No, they're not.
What would David Bowie have on his compilation? I think he'd have some. He's going to have some Lou Reed on there, or Velvet Underground.
Let's have a look. The Velvet Underground and Nico.
Ooh!
Yeah, so that's on there, and there she goes again. So that is 1-for-1 filter.
Okay, he's going to have some. Oh, what's he going to have? Is he going to have some Stooges or some Iggy Pop?
The Stooges is the next track. That's track 7, and No Fun.
I honestly never heard this album. I'm just going by what I know about David Bowie. Is he going to have some Scott Walker on there?
Ooh, 3 for 3. Scott Walker and Montague, is it? Montague Terrace?
Jacques Brel song, Montague Terrace in Blue, yeah. This is where I'm going to hit a brick wall now, because they're things I would associate with influencing David Bowie. What would have influenced him later? I think he would have been influenced by Kraftwerk. Was there any Kraftwerk on there?
There is no Kraftwerk.
Oh, no Kraftwerk. No Brian Eno on there?
There is Brian Eno, Another Green World.
Right. Oh, crikey. There must be so many other things that could be on there. I just don't know. Is there a John Cale track on there?
There is no John Cale.
Has he
But
got any
you're in the
soul? Right
you
kind of
are in the
area.
right ballpark with John Cale, because an artist that he inspired himself is on here, but not necessarily him as a solo artist.
That's confused me more.
So who was a big influence? John
What?
Cale and
Uh,
British artist.
oh, well, what did John Cale? I've gone blank on this. John Cale did an album with the British artist, did he?
No. He inspired. He did a lot. Well, I think he did do some stuff with this artist, or this artist covered some of his stuff.
Crikey,
His
I'm trying
hands
to
don't
get.
move very quickly.
I'm totally blank on that one.
His hands, if he hasn't got fast hands, he's got.
What Clapton? Slow hand. His
Yeah, and
cream.
his cream is on there. I feel free.
Cream was okay. Yeah, I can see Cream
Yeah.
being on there. Who else could be on there? Who else could be on there? Is Leonard Cohen on there?
No, Leonard Cohen isn't on here. There's a
Is
few left field ones on here.
is there some soul on there? Is Otis Redding on there?
Otis Redding isn't, but there is a sort of a there is a sort of there is an artist sort of that era on there
James
who
Brown?
similar, shorter.
Shorter. What, like a
Yeah,
soul artist who's
like
short?
not soul. He wasn't a soul artist, but he was around about the same time. I suppose his mates would have called him Little Dicky.
Little Richard, yeah, okay.
Little Richard is on there. Shake a hand if you can.
Okay. I don't know who else is going to be on David Bowie's list, to
Do you
be
want me to
honest.
run through it? There are a
Maybe getting
few
a bit
left
low.
field ones on there.
I imagine there'll
So,
be some. Is there some German ones like Armand Dull or something like that?
no, there isn't. There isn't.
There'll be
But there is a
some.
French artist on here.
Oh, is it Jacques? No, not Jacques Brel. Serge
No,
Gainsbourg, something like that.
no. Do you want me to run through it?
Yeah, let's
The
go.
track
What have we
listing.
got? Yeah.
Right, side A, Little Richard, Shake a Hand. Track 2, Anthony Newley, Who Can I Turn to When Nobody
Oh,
Needs Me?
bit of British comedy and British sort of. Anthony
Yeah,
Neely did some comedy, but he did ballads as well, didn't he? But I know David
yeah,
Bowie was a fan of him, bizarrely. Yeah.
yeah. And then Ken Nordine and the Fred Katz Group. I used to
Okay.
think my right hand was uglier than my left.
Did you?
Jerry Mulligan, Blues for Tiny.
Some jazz, yeah.
Yeah, Ray Kona and Glover.
Okay. Right.
Ted McRag. And then side B, the Velvet Underground, Nico, there she goes again. The Stooges, No Fun. My favourite band of all time, the Beach Boys, Heroes and Villains.
Okay.
Cream, I Feel Free. And ending side B, Linton Quasi Johnson, Want Fee Go Rave.
Okay. Must have been, I
Yeah.
don't know what that
And
is.
then side C starts off with the Pixies and Debaser.
Oh, right. Okay. So this is a bit more later on. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Track 12 is the French one. That's from 1997's Moon Safari. It's Sexy Boy by Air.
Okay.
Then the Scott Walker track, Granddaddy and Hewlett's Daughter. The Langley School Music Project from
Oh,
2001.
I knew
Space
that. I
Oddity.
remember reading. I remember reading that he was a fan of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Brian Eno, Another Green World. Kevin Ayres, Baby Come Home.
Okay.
The Mother of Invention, Any Way the Wind Blows. I wonder if that's the song that goes, Any way the wind blows right back to you.
Is that the
Which
Mothers
used
of
to be,
Invention with Frank
yeah,
Zappa? Yeah.
yeah. Roxy Music, Virginia Plain, The Polyphonic Spree, Section 8, Soldier Girl, and finishing it off, Tom Verlaine and Kingdom Come.
Oh, the guy from television. Yeah. Should have thought of that New
Yeah,
Yorkie
which I
period.
think's
Yeah.
not a bad collection of tracks there.
It's a good collection of tracks, isn't it? Get you in the mood for
Yeah,
David Bowie as well. Yeah.
exactly. So so that's going to get listened to at some point this week. I've got this on at the moment. R.G. Lowe's album, Life of the Body. I put it on today for the first time. I got 2 tracks in, and then we started recording, and I had to stop it. So yeah, that ends my week.
That ends your week. Well, as we're 45 minutes into the show, and you don't really want an album to go on longer than that if you're going to press it onto vinyl, shall we end this show here?
We shall
and then
end
go
the
and do
show
another
here,
one.
Phil. Yeah.
Viewer,
Somehow.
Thank you so much for watching these ramblings. We will be back with another one.
Maybe.
In the future. Maybe. Possibly. You never know. Thanks again.
It might have him.
Take care.
Might have me. Bye.
Oh, by the way, just before I press the start button, Ben, by the way, viewer, if you have liked this show, if you've liked it, then you won't be lying if you click like. And if you were to want to see one of these again, you could follow us. And I think it should be called follow, but on YouTube it's called subscribe. It doesn't cost you any money. No one's going to come after you for anything. But if you subscribe, then you'll see our other videos pop up when you go onto YouTube, which I know is probably quite a scary idea. But if you give it a go, you might like it. So
we are like
we'd
a
appreciate
365-day-year Halloween session, aren't we?
Indeed. With that scary thought, we'll go. Bye for now.
Ciao, Bella.